time, Commissioner Williams is going to do the invocation, and then we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. All rise.
Most gracious God, again, we just want to give you thanks and praise for this wonderful city, God, that you have been a blessing to. So again, we ask you to just lead us and guide us, bless us with wills of knowledge and understanding. And God, I just pray, God, this togetherness of giving today, God, I pray that it be a success all over the nation and just bless others that need it. So again, we say thank you for your grace and your mercy and all your wonderful people. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jenny, roll call, please.
Mayor James.
Here.
Vice Mayor Jones.
Here.
Commissioner Jennings.
Here.
Here.
Yeah. I apologize for that, folks. I got a little bit of a cold here. Presentation, is that? Okay, because I know that was from Newberry, I believe.
Yes, it was.
Okay, so we'll,
I can address it.
you want to just talk about it?
Yeah.
What to approve the agenda?
What Newberry wants to do,
Yeah.
and I do agree with them, is that on the next election, they want to put in a thing for the citizens to vote for the county commission to do it by district. That will give us more control and influence with the county commissioners, because now everything is at large. And I totally agree with that. I don't know if we have to have a petition or a resolution.
No, well, so this is actually a group of Newberry High School current students and former students who are looking to get involved in politics, make a difference in our area. So what they're doing is going out and trying to get enough people to sign a petition to get it on the ballot. There's, I think, approximately 45,000 registered voters in Alachua County. I think that number is right. But anyway, they have to have 18,000 signatures to get it on the ballot. So you could certainly do a resolution here in support of it. What these students are going out is doing these presentations to kind of inform you of the process and to get people to registered voters in Alachua County to sign their petition. So that's really what they're looking for, and also looking for local leaders to kind of help get the word out and get the signatures, because obviously 18,000 is a lot to get. And so Mayor Marlowe of Newberry, who is a teacher at Newberry High School, has been kind of helping them in this process. And his pitch to everyone is that, you know, certainly a lot of people are in favor of the single member districts, but in addition, he thinks that we should be supporting our youth in the community that's out there trying to be a part of the process, so that even if you're not in favor of single member districts, that you would help the students get this on the ballot and let the voters in Alachua County make the ultimate decision.
Okay. And this is the best chance, because they're students. If I did it, you did it, we're all politicians. If they go out and do it, they're not politicians, we have a better chance of it passing.
People will sign things.
I think that's absolutely correct.
So
if you are interested, I can make sure that those students bring some of their like a piece of paper, the petition, to get signatures. And if it's okay with the city, maybe we could leave some here for anyone.
Is there any conflict with us having those here in City Hall? You know, the petitions, and what's their deadline on the petitions? Do you know?
I don't know. I'm going to send an email to Mayor Marlowe right now and see if I can get that answer for you. And they might have a website or something where you can go to. But I don't know. But I suspect that they're this would be for the
be the November
in
2018.
November. So I think usually August, if I'm right, Jenny, is usually about the time that the supervisor of elections needs everything. So, but I'm not sure with this what exactly the deadline
You'll let us know.
is. But I will let you know. I will absolutely let you know.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Before this gets too far, I need to know if it's gonna be a problem for me, because I did talk to Mayor Marlowe about this a while back, and that's how he got to you. And I just need to know, like I say, if it's gonna be an issue for me or not.
I don't think so.
In what way?
It was just a general conversation.
Oh, no. So there's
Explain
no
it to me what
sunshine.
you wanted, and
Right.
yeah.
No sunshine law violation, because you guys are on separate boards. And like I said, there's really no action for this board to take. They're just going around and been requesting that all the cities allow the students come and give their presentation, and then it would be up to all of you as individuals whether or not you wanted to sign the petition. So
An individual thing, not a city.
not a city thing. Now, I think certainly probably the argument is that the smaller municipalities would be more in favor of single-member districts, like your manager was just explaining, but it would be up to you as an individual whether or not you wanted to sign the petition.
So could we ask you to invite them to come and present to us, and then leave the petitions here so that people could access them easier?
Yeah, absolutely. We can do that.
I thought that was one of the things they wanted to do, was to come in and do a presentation.
It was on there, they didn't show, so are you gonna try to set it up for the December? Okay. Let me backtrack for a second and get approval of the agenda, please.
I make such a motion.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve of the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, pass 5-0. Thank you very much. Unfinished business. Consider ordinance 2017-11. Courtney?
Yes, sir. This is ordinance 2017-11, an ordinance amending the adopted 2016-2017 fiscal year budget of the city of High Springs, providing an effective date. The appropriate motion is to pass ordinance 2017-11 upon second reading by title only.
At this point in time, I'll open it up for public input. We'll close it. Hearing none. Comments from the dais? Any discussion?
Do we need explanation if I see some highlighted areas in yellow?
The highlighted areas are just the changes from the last one. This is the second reading, so they are changes. And basically, most of the changes are revenues or expenditures that came in, and we made the adjustments for them.
I'll make a motion that we approve the ordinance 2017-11.
I'll second.
I have a first and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of roll call? Excuse me. Yes.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much. At this point in time, citizens' requests and comments. Issues not on the agenda. Let's give your name, please, and limit to 5 minutes.
Terry Maltby, and I thought I'd give you something I know you can't handle. So, about, I don't know, it's been 2, maybe 3 years now that we've had our address changes. They still haven't gotten this on Google and GPS and all that sort of thing. Now, there's nothing I can do about it, but I'm hoping maybe some of you can rattle the chains of the county and get them to correct it. It's obviously 911 and those folks respond the way it's supposed to. That's, but if it's someone that's not routine, they're dependent on GPS and it doesn't work. So
I just last week went on the Google site and fish through, and there's a way you can report, and so I actually sent a request because it makes me crazy that I have to give really detailed instructions to people. Use this address for GPS, but when you get in town, the street names are gonna be this. And, so I personally did that just last week, but no response, so Google's a private industry, and
Well, I know the county, or the feds at least, you know, well, it was about 3 years ago or 4 when they did the intersection down in Alachua. Now, that was not a big change, but it changed the entrance to I-75 from the left to the right, and they got that done in about 6 months. So I know it's possible. I just don't know who you're supposed to contact to make it. So I was just asking if
talk
someone.
to the chief and go through 911.
But there was, who was the gentleman that was here that?
Keith Godwin.
Yes.
Yeah, he lives in town.
Can you touch
contact.
base with him, Chief?
Yeah, he used to be my neighbor.
Okay.
Matter of fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
'cause it was Keith. Thanks, Terry.
That's it.
Okay.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak to you fine people. So one of the
Give your
things.
name, please.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Dirk Hunt. I'm out at Bailey Estates. So one of the things on the way that the water was handled. So at the end of the last meeting, we had all pretty much come to the conclusion that sharing the information, the test results, and everything else in real time was a very good idea. And yet the very next day, when unfortunately, I'm assuming the chlorine went bad, I don't know because none of those results were posted for anyone to see.
Well, the problem is that it's Friday and we don't work. So more than likely it was posted on Monday. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, it never got posted.
Well,
So-
it may not been in that cycle. We don't test every day.
Well, I think he was planning on testing that day because he was going to submit for sterility later
Okay,
that day.
but understand, when he tests, it has to go to the laboratory.
No, that's absolutely correct. And so I'm assuming he did a chlorine test at the site and it failed and he did not submit his samples for sterility because
I don't
otherwise there would
think
be no
so.
reason to.
think
I don't know either because none of the information was posted, so it's
Okay.
sort of a moot point to discuss it.
Right.
I think what he's talking about is, they had tested it, but he was waiting for the results to come back in.
Right.
And the results were never posted.
And that he said the results were never posted.
when we
Okay,
had the
well-
boil water order it in October is when
Yeah.
he was talking about.
Because we were all
In
very helpful
October.
at that date, on
Yeah,
the
that's-
date of the last commission meeting, was that, it'll be released and we'll be good to go tomorrow. But
Right,
we
that's
aren't
what we
we
said
aren't promising
October,
that,
that
but
was-
right, and that was understood. But when it came up as boil water with no information provided, that was sort of disappointing.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Agreed. And we're going to try not to do that again.
Okay. And on the other issue that came up in the later business, that was the $700,000 for the Greenway projects.
Yes.
I wasn't sure about what you did for the budgeting on the initial part of that. You just said $700,000 for the bike path, and then you had some that looked like they'd been budgeted and others looked like they just had numbers thrown at them. You have like some of the audits or the requests and estimates for that work, so that.
No, we didn't. What we really did was we took the project of the High Springs. He wanted too much money.
Yeah, that was.
We changed that over to put it into the parks.
Okay.
And so as he uses it, I mean, we did general things such as bleachers, buying some land.
No, I'm not saying that any of the projects were not worthy.
No, but we don't generally go out for a non-bid.
We'll be going out for bid on all of those
Okay.
projects.
Yeah.
The $700,000, it's a matching grant
Right, no,
from the county, so we submit the plan to the county.
Mhm.
We're going to put in $350. The county will put
Right.
$350,
Right.
and once it's approved by the county, then we have the green light to actually go out for bid. So
Okay.
the
Mhm.
numbers that you saw there were
Just
staff's
estimates,
best
yeah.
estimates
Okay.
at what they were. So those numbers might come out a little bit
Differently.
differently,
Skewed,
but
yeah.
when they are out for bid, that will all be public and
Mhm.
posted on the city's
Okay.
website, and then will
Sure.
be brought to the commission for them
Right.
to make those ultimate selections.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Being there's no one else here,
Right, because,
we'll close the citizen's
Right.
comments.
Yeah.
No, I already spoke with her. We'll move on to new business. Consider approval of a mutual aid agreement for operational assistance with the City of Gainesville Police Department.
This is a normal thing the police department does. It's just mutual, and it's both ways. They provide mutual aid to us, we provide mutual aid to them. And recently, they did that with the speaker over at the university,
yes,
who was against everything.
Spencer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Spencer.
Industry standard, that's what we do for
Yeah.
resources to help in times of emergencies or events.
Mhm.
So it won't be adversely impact the area that those events are happening.
This is an annual, this renewal of an annual.
It's about 2 years, 2 to 3 years, and we'll revisit it because things change, positions change, people change, so it's revisited in about 2 or 3 years.
Any comments? Do I have a motion to approve the agreement?
I make such a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a first and a second to approve the mutual aid agreement with the City of Gainesville Police Department. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And hearing none, approved 5-0. City Attorney's report.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. First, wanted to let you know that I heard back from Mayor Marlowe that please accept his sincerest apologies. There was some confusion on their end. They thought that they weren't on the agenda, but otherwise they would not have just not shown up. But they will coordinate with Jenny so that they can be on your next agenda. But he said to please let you know his sincerest apologies for not being here this evening. The second is something I'm just going to give you a brief update, and we'll have more at the next meeting, hopefully. But as we were just talking about our interlocal with the county that also involves the rail trail, the purchase of a rail corridor, the county has several contingencies in the agreement with the Trust for Public Lands. One of them was that the county was able to do an environmental study. We just got those results back. The county has some concerns now after getting that report, but they're running out of time on their contingencies to give notice. So the county commission voted this morning to put the Trust for Public Lands on notice that they will be backing out of the contract unless they're given an additional 3-month period to research these environmental issues. So if the parties can't come up with an extension as of this Thursday, there will no longer be an agreement for the purchase of the rail corridor. Because this does affect the city, obviously the purchase of the property and also the environmental impact on the city itself, the county will be sending over to Mr. Booth the actual environmental study so that staff here can review it as well. But unfortunately, it literally kind of just came in this morning, so I don't have too much more for you on that. But it was discussed this morning at the county commission, and I wanted you to be aware. So the current contract for the land is as is. So essentially, however the land is, that's how the county was going to get it. So they just want a little bit more time to research exactly what the remediation might be for the environmental issues that came up. So we will certainly update you on what ends up happening this week, and then updating you further as we get to see that report.
That's it?
That's it.
Excuse me. Ms. Linkus?
I have one question because I've had a few people ask me, when are we going to have the hurricane debris picked up? Do we have any idea?
We are working on that as Gainesville and everybody is. Should be within the next 30 days.
Okay.
But we are pushing our collection with WCA. It doesn't appear they're collecting anything, and we've
No, they haven't.
and we have put the pressure on them.
How about there's a tree down over here by the old school?
There
There's one
is.
down in Catherine Taylor Park. When are those going to be cleaned up out of these areas?
That is next week.
Okay.
We're doing that ourselves.
Okay,
Catherine Taylor Park, we'll look at it.
okay.
I apologize that I jumped.
That's all right. Well, we're going to change around the room here a little bit. We're taking out the last 2 rows. We're going to move the table over there. It's one for security. It's also for ADA, so people can come through the doors. We never have this room filled, so it shouldn't be any problem whatsoever. On the 7th, we have a party. It starts at 6. And so it's across the street. Please come. And we have the parade on the 9th. The fire engines will be there. The mayor will be in the chief's car, I believe, and bring your grandkids.
They're coming, they're so excited.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. They get to be in a parade in a fire engine.
Fire engines.
Are all of yours coming, Scott?
What?
He's got a whole bush
He's
of
gonna
them.
have to.
Yeah.
Yes, he's gonna have to.
I'm gonna need it.
I hope
Issue.
that.
We'll be there.
Yes, sir. And that's it.
Lynn, I'll come back to you again. Did you have anything else? Lori?
Linda had already mentioned about the non-pickup of the trash, and Mr. Booth mentioned about the recycle, so that was the first thing I
Yes,
had.
ma'am.
And the second thing I had, it almost gave me a headache when I heard it. But a little while back, we had this long survey and discussion about selling alcohol on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming back to surface. 2 people have called and asked me about it. Say, oh, God, I'm finna get a headache.
Yeah.
But just a heads up. And thirdly, I think Tony and Arizona Corner is open.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah. Very good. All right, that's it for me.
You said just a heads up about liquor being sold on Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Yeah, it
no
was a
further
big deal a little
information?
while back.
Oh, okay.
And 2 people have asked me about that this week.
Okay.
So, in fact, one of them had intentions of coming to the meeting today, but they had a little boy who got sick at school and they had to go get him.
Okay.
Otherwise, they would have been here tonight, but it's coming back again.
For or against?
That's right. It's already been,
For?
it's already been sold.
Huh?
Doing it, aren't they? Isn't it approved to sell it?
Yeah.
I think it's after 1 o'clock. It's
Certain hours.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
after,
Certain
I don't think
hours.
you can do it in the morning.
No.
Like after 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think
they
the
want
issue
it
was
earlier?
you couldn't do it, and then we approved it from 1
Yeah.
to like
Right.
10 or 1 to 11 or something like that on a time on Sunday.
But we had people at the time that the restaurants wanted to be able to serve an earlier brunch.
Right.
But maybe they want it earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm not sure what the calls are, but I at the time,
That's
there was
the
a big
idea.
debate about
Okay.
the time and were
Yeah.
they losing out on
The brunch is- I
brunch
understand.
Mm-hmm.
income.
I wish they'd leave it alone myself.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
Yeah.
We'll let them come. I don't know. That would be each individual commissioner's comments on it. But I thought going to 1 o'clock, I thought was a pretty adventurous
I thought
move
that
at the
was good
time.
enough.
When I moved here, there were no liquor stores in town at all.
I lived here for 50 years and wasn't that at all.
None. And we got along just fine.
I don't have anything per se. I know we talked about the employees' Christmas party on the 7th and then
Yes.
the parade on the 9th. And
We will ask the mayor to give out those longevity checks this time.
yeah, there's a handling fee.
Yeah.
Did you get that? Yeah, Italian food. Yeah,
We can negotiate. This? What'd you say?
As we discussed at the CRA meeting about the position of the
Yes.
CRA, just want to know, do you want that on the agenda for the 14th? Because I sort of looked at some job descriptions and came up with a couple of drafts there that you can look through and kind of see what you want that position to be. If you want me to put it on the agenda for the
Yeah, what we did here is the time I sort of asked, and they've kicked it around at the point with the CRA positioning opening up, is to try to incorporate the CRA along with like a part-time, not assistant city manager, but a part-time person to assist in some of the day-to-day things that city manager has to do. And so that's what they came up with. I said, we could come up with this one here. We could use the CRA money, and then supplement the difference for this one here, be it 10,000 or so forth, get an additional, but also my thought was just to have an additional person on staff to help with the day-to-day, the website type things and the communication type of thing, to where you would actually have somebody designated. So I asked if they could come up with a couple. So if you all think by the December 14th, you'd be able to look at these and offer, this is how in advertising for Angela's job, you would advertise it with the new position. You would want the person to have CRA talent and experience, but also the ability to, and you can read through this, to designate certain day-to-day things and take some of the heat off of Mr. Booth and just some of the minutia type of things on a day-to-day basis. So.
Are you looking to expand this to a 40-hour-a-week
Yes.
position? Okay, so the
Yeah.
other 10 hours a week would come from the city budget
Yes.
versus the CRA budget, and you would have,
Sure.
you would be able to draw more people if you can offer a full-time position.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yes.
you would get a better,
So that would be, yes,
better
that would be the thought.
opportunity of people, so.
They could also monitor the website on almost a daily basis to make sure that all the tests are getting involved, because we get awful busy. As I've often said, we do what normally a city of 6,000 plus would have 100 employees. We do it with 55. And so we do lack a few things, or miss a few things along the way, but we get a lot of things right. We also have these multi-million-dollar grants that we're trying to manage, and that takes a lot of my time.
Well, this would be something just for each of us to consider. This isn't, we would have to vote on it. So this is just for your consideration. And would you want it, would you be prepared to do it? 'Cause I think if we did it in December, then we could do the advertising.
Right.
Sure.
And you could have this thing set up by the end of February when it was done. Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, we could do it.
Jenny, you go ahead and go ahead and put that on then. I thank you. Anything else? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Right.
Thank you.